Okay, we'll start. So Unit 11, Foreign Aid and Foreign Investment. Why is foreign aid and foreign investment important? For any country, and including Papua New Guinea, we need foreign aid and foreign investment to grow our economy. So our economy currently depended very much on foreign aid and foreign investment. So that's why or in politics and government, you'll read in the media that the government will always talk about foreign aid and foreign investment. So as a way of introducing this unit here, we look at the objective. The three objectives are very much straightforward. In order to understand foreign aid, we have to describe what foreign aid is. All right, what is foreign aid? Now, foreign aid is not the same as foreign investment. Okay, foreign investment is different from foreign aid. So again, the second objective here, we have to discuss or describe what foreign investment is. And then the third objective would be try to bring them together. So how do foreign aid and foreign investment come together, these two activities, to our country or to develop our country, our districts and our provinces? So importantly here in this unit is talking about you to describe what foreign aid is, what foreign investment is, and how foreign aid and investment work together. So let's look at trying to describe what foreign aid is. So if you look at the introduction, the first sentence would sort of give us an indication of what foreign aid is. So if you can highlight this first sentence here, foreign aid monies come in the form of grants or loans. So there we go, we have what foreign aid is or composed of is that foreign aid comes in the form of grants and loans. And these sometimes have to be repaid over time and may be tied or untied. And I'll explain a little bit about what untied is and tied. So tied foreign aid is that the money must be repaid in some sort of form over time. It can be labor, it can be capital. So most monies through foreign aid is sort of loan grants that is repaid over time. Now the untied aid is, or untied foreign aid is those monies that are not attached to any form of repayment or any form of criteria or categories that is associated with that money. Important here is to differentiate between tied and untied aid. Tied aid is tied to a particular criteria, particular specification, and in most instances tied to a particular loan repayment over time. Tied aid, you don't have to, those monies are not tied to any specific criteria or not to be repaid over time, something like that. An example would be the second sentence here, that monies are given by donor institutions or governments, usually from the wealthier industrial countries. So most of these foreign aid is given by wealthier industrialized countries. Now if you want to, and then it gives the third sentence talks about the differentiation between tied and untied aid. And if you read there, a tied aid can be tied to specific projects or programs, all right, where the donor would have some say in deciding which projects to fund, all right. So tied aid specific programs or projects or criteria, indications, and it must be tied or it must be, or the donor, that the one that is giving the aid, has some sort of say in which the aid is going to be used. All right? So in terms of how the aid is going to be used, basically comes in the form of the administration of the funds. For example, the Australian aid will give money, but it will contract, the company, the Australian company DT Global, to administer the projects. All right, although the money is given, but it's tied to specific project coordinator to administer it. So something like that. And the issue of the tied aid is, fourth or fifth sentence here, while this may undermine the autonomy of decision making by the recipient government, the donor institution of the government usually says that it has the right to have a say in the use of aid. So when the Australian government, let's say, not saying, okay, some instances, when they give aid, they usually have a say in how the Australian taxpayers' money will be used in our country. Now, the critic against that is usually comes in undermining the autonomy of our government to make decisions in development of these funds in our country. So it's a question of sovereignty and autonomy of decision making by our government. So that is one of the setbacks by the issue of tied aid. Okay, let me see if there is an example of untied aid here. All right. I don't think there is any example. Oh, okay. So, second paragraph of the introduction, second sentence. I'll read. If the untied aid is grants, the monies may not have been repaid. All right, untied aids, okay, monies not have been repaid. If they are loans, then the monies would have to be repaid. All right. For many instances, say 1975 to year 2000, Australian aid to PNG was untied budget grants, which meant that the monies went directly to the PNG budget, and the government would have decided how the money would be used. All right. So an example of untied aid is Australia's support to our budget, or budget funding by the Australian government. Okay, this money goes straight to the budget, and without the Australian government having any say to how the money is going to be used in the budget. Okay, please ensure to understand what foreign aid is, and importantly, the untied and the tied aid. So, in describing what foreign aid is money in the form of grants and loans, number one definition, and number two is foreign aid can be tied and untied. And the examples is given there. So that we check the first objective here to describe what foreign aid is. Now let's look at the second objective, describe what foreign investment is. So what is foreign investment? And that is found in paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, paragraph 5. under the title Foreign Investment. So foreign investment is, and I'll read, foreign investment is actively sought by PNG because the country wants to achieve economic self-sufficiency. The overseas capital is invested in priority sectors of the national economy, such as mining, logging, banking, and even agriculture. Such investment will increase employment opportunities for Papua New Guineans and bring other social benefits that are important to the country as a whole, such as improved education and health systems. A mouthful of words here, but to understand what foreign investment is basically overseas capital. When we say overseas capital, we are referring to monies coming from outside. Now, monies coming from outside can also be foreign aid. But the difference here is that money coming from outside is invested. So, when you think of foreign investment, monies coming from outside must be invested into key priority areas. Now, in difference with foreign aid is that foreign aid are grants and loans, and it is untied or untied. Foreign investment are overseas capital that is invested in priority areas. What are these priority areas here? And it talks about these priority areas here: education, health, infrastructure, agriculture, or the economy, mining. LNG is bringing foreign investment to our country. They are investing in the extractive business or natural resources. They are extracting our oil and gas, and at the same time they are providing employment for our people. They are providing infrastructure, building roads and bridges. These are the monies that are used to build all these things are coming from outside, but they are invested in these key priority areas. So priority areas are infrastructure, health, education, and the economy. All right, so let's look at the summary. So our third objective is to discuss foreign aid and foreign investment activities in your community. So probably that's up to you to pick out or identify. So foreign investment and foreign aid, importantly, are two different concepts. Two different ideas. So how do they work together? Sometimes the government borrow money through foreign aid to invest in infrastructure, priority areas. Sometimes foreign aid is being borrowed to invest in education, infrastructure, health, services, and other key priority areas. However, those monies that the government borrowed needs to be repaid. Now, on the same token, the foreign investment, overseas capital being invested in key priority areas, sometimes are not a burden to the government. Meaning that the government would not have to repay any loans for the development of those priority areas where foreign companies coming in to deliver. So it is best to have more foreign investment than depending on foreign aid, especially those tied aid grants. All right? So the third objective is for you to critically analyze to understand how foreign aid and foreign investment are different, and what sort of investment through foreign investment or foreign aid is optimal or better for Papua New Guinea. All right? So that sort of concludes the lecture rundown for Unit 11.